Grand Rising, Grand Rising. This is Adashina Shandara, Lady Indigo of Indigo Rising, welcoming you to another session of our Wednesday morning prayer and meditation hour. This morning, we're really focusing on allowing our cup to be filled, to making our needs known, um, and realizing that there's a time for rest. There's a time for rest. There's a time to find soft spaces. There is a time, like I said, to be poured into, to be replenished. And I welcome you this morning. Um, let's hit it. What do you guys think about the topic? Oh, there we go, Ray. Come on in, sweetie.
I think it's an important one. It's important to recognize that. Well, like we can't pour from an empty cup. Um, and in order for us to be able to continue to move how women often do, like addressing many things, putting out a bunch of little fires everywhere, we got to have something within us. We have to be full enough to do that ourselves. Um, so yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Lachey, so you're in agreement that is so necessary. So one of the things I wanted to ask is where do we find this replenishment, in our lives? Where do we go to receive that? Um, some of us have partners, some of us, it's our sister circle, it's our friends, some of it may be our adult children. Where do you go to get replenished, or have you even figured out where it is? Have you even taken the time to do that? And if so, let's define our support systems this morning, because it's not the same for everyone, and sometimes it's not who we expected it would be. So um, with that, I just want to open up the floor for comment. Good morning, Miss Lena. How are you?
Good, I'm good. I think getting a massage is good for replenishing.
Mm-hmm.
I always talk about yoga is good for me.
Mm-hmm.
Going on a retreat, just relaxing and vacationing and taking care of yourself. Sometimes you do a vacation, you have to do another vacation once you get back because you did so much on the vacation. But
Mm-hmm.
like I said, a good relaxing massage, a good yoga class, taking a walk,
Mm-hmm.
looking at in the trees, looking at the nature. All of that is replenishing, is peaceful, is
Yeah.
rest, getting good rest, taking a nap. It's just replenishing.
Yes.
All those things are great.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And Lena, though, who pours into you? Who 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 do you go to find safety, to find support, to find someone to just to be?
Well, you know, I have a couple of friends, and sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't for me. I
Mm-hmm.
think I think for me, it's just prayer and reading and trusting God. Because sometimes, you're asking others for their opinion or advice, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. For
Mm-hmm.
me, for me,
Right.
sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not.
Well,
So
hold on. I'm not talking about advice. I'm talking about who are soft. Where do you go when you need a soft space to land? One, I know this circle has provided replenishment for you.
absolutely.
Have your sister, who is like your road dog. You can um, always get a smile or a hug, or you have your mother, you know. So not so much advice. And I'm not talking about where we go to unload our problems or
Uh-huh.
to
Uh-huh.
find that. I'm talking about where we find comfort. Where's our safe space to just be yourself, to maybe get a cup of tea, or somebody who thinks about what it is that you like. You know, I know for me, I spend a lot of time um, seeing what's needed in other people, whether it's a hug or allowing them to just, to check on them. How you doing today? You good? All right. I was thinking about you. Ran across my mind. Where you been? Okay. I see you, girl. Who does that for you?
Well, you said it, the sister circle. And then I
Mhm,
would have to say my sisters. I have four of them.
mhm,
I have four of them. And
uh-huh.
I would say my sisters probably more than my daughter.
Okay.
Um, I have an a 50-year-old daughter, but I would say one of my sisters. I think I get something special from each of them,
Mm-hmm.
along with my mom. I'm enjoying spending this time with her
Gosh.
and serving and doing for her. But and the circle has been wonderful. This has been so wonderful. I think, and I was telling one of my friends, I said, I think I'm at peace more now than and I'm still not at total peace, but I
Mhm,
think I'm at more peace now with myself, within myself, than I've ever been, and I'm almost 70 years old.
mhm,
So I think now I'm teaching Bible study, and trying to get comfortable with that and knowledgeable, and I'm enjoying studying and reading the Bible. So I would say the circle and my support system, which is my family,
your
it
family.
has been a blessing. Yes.
Ashe, Ashe. That's beautiful. Beautiful to be able to be poured into. And that's what we're talking about today. For those of us who are always giving, ripping, running, always uh, helping, always supporting, how do we find comfort or safe spaces to land, to just be ourselves, um, to, who checks on us? You know how they always say, check on your strong friend. You know, she may not be okay. Who's checking on you? Come on in, Angel.
Good morning, sisters. I'm sorry, I'm rolling. I'm on the road. And
Good
every
morning.
time I'm on the road, I can't get in like when I want to get in, but I don't know, Adashina, if this what you want to hear, but I gotta say it. But one is my sister circle. I love you guys because one thing I know for sure, we support each other even in our vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, when I go and I feel myself I really in need, I start talking out loud to my God,
Mm-hmm.
and he send people from everywhere. Even I don't even know somebody finna pour into me. It could be a customer on the line, it could be somebody in the grocery store, but they're putting in what I discuss with him or what he see that I need. And I just think, I don't know if other people experience it. Like, yeah, like for actual person, I don't know. I consider him like an actual person because I actually be talking to him and sharing my unky dunkiness.
You're okie
And
dokie.
yeah, the unky dunky that you don't want to share with nobody. I know
Right.
you know that word, Adashina, because
Right.
your dad made up that word. But unky dunky sisters mean like that awkwardness, that weirdness, that stuff that you don't want to share with nobody, I share with God, and He touched people to pour into me that I don't even know. Like I be walking away, like, oh, I didn't know that was finna. You understand?
I do. I do.
So
So
I
you go
pour
to your
into
divine,
Him.
yeah,
You
and
understand?
it sends you what you need through maybe unknown
Right, right.
sources. But you,
Right. And when I say I pour into Him, it's a different kind of thing. It's not a prayer. It's like that relationship that He longs for. You know, God longs, people got their different thoughts about it. But when you get that intimate, that you're talking and you're speaking with Him, and it's not a prayer, it's like a relationship. He starts sending people to pour into you. Like it's a lady walking up to my car now. I don't know this lady.
mm-hmm,
Okay, she waving at me. Okay, that's nice. That restore a little bit. Like he could touch anybody anywhere to
mm-hmm,
pour into you what you need at that moment. And that's what I do when I need, and
mm-hmm.
he sees it. So
Ashe,
I say y'all.
Ashe. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Anybody else want to come in and tell me what's your support system? Who pours into you? Good morning, Tangela. Thank you for coming on the line.
Morning.
Good morning. Who do you,
Oh, welcome, sisters. That's our relative. She's back at my apartment. I done left her there and I sent her the Zoom. Thank you for signing on, cousin.
Yes. Peace and
and
harmony.
yes, yes. So who do you go to, Tangela, for your support system? Who pours into you? Where do you find a soft space to just be yourself and get replenished?
Well, usually I have a buddy,
Mm-hmm.
um, that I can speak with, that I know that'll tell me what I need to hear and not what I want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and speaking with the buddy can help me, actually see myself in a different light.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm on a different journey, I see myself different than I did 6 months, 1 year, 2 years ago. Um, so if either it's prayer, uh, not even so much prayer, just having a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
uh, one-on-one, just talking to Jesus, talking to our Heavenly Father. Um, uh, you know, Angel is there a lot of time, and since I've been here, she's showing me some things about myself, just opening me up to knowing that I do things a certain way for so long. Like, wow, I'm like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I go to also, there's a place here in Miami called the Clubhouse. It's where people go, recovering alcoholics and recovering drug addicts go. It's called a clubhouse. It's AA and NA meetings. And I just go there because you have people on such a much more devastating journey, and they're
Mm-hmm.
making it through, and they're coming off of drugs, staying off of drugs, coming off of alcohol, staying off of alcohol. And just because they have a sickness, but in a different light, we all, fighting and struggling with some type of sickness.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be drugs or alcohol, but we have something going on that we're fighting against.
Okay.
And, you know, I'll go there to the meetings just um, to listen to their, stories or what happened today, the struggle. Uh, Listen, see people get their medallions for, being clean for X amount of months. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just a journey just to um, help me see, you know, what I'm going through. Somebody is going through something much worse, and they're pulling through because they want to be better. So, and I'm an individual that wants to be better and have so much room for improvement. And, in the past where I had time, didn't make the time to come on to the meetings
Mm-hmm.
and just sometimes things would be right there in your face that you need and you overlook it just because, and you don't even know why, but you just overlook it.
Right, right.
It could be
So, so
areas that
you,
can open it up like this meeting that we're having here.
uh-huh. Mm-hmm. So you're saying you find support by sitting in those spaces, or you get fed by seeing other people get fed by being in an environment of support and love.
Right.
Ashe. Ashe. Okay. There you go. That's what I wanted to hear. How are you getting replenished? How is your cup being filled? Thank you, sister. Thank you for that. Anybody else want to come in and respond to that?
Good morning, Adeshina. This is
Good morning,
Lena.
Lima. Come on in.
I would say the way I'm replenished, we talk about people. I would say speaking with my sister right now. Um, that's a replenishing relationship, but a lot of times it's through books, reading, meditation, through taking a walk in nature.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of allowing myself to relax out in nature, the sun, or taking a walk. Kind of being alone, I feel like I'm getting more nourished a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Aside from speaking with my sister, and then I've had other friends that I've reached out to, like you, um, when we're doing things, we're just being. There's no like set activity, but taking time out to uh, just sit, because sometimes we don't just sit. We're like doing things or going. But when you just sit with a friend, um, like with you, or there's one other person, or my sister, and and for people who just see you, like I feel like my husband, he can just see me, like he can see when I'm up or when I'm down. So it's
Mm-hmm.
good to have someone in your life who can see your emotions
Mm-hmm.
and notice them and kind of speak to them. Uh, even if you're not allowing yourself to show those emotions or be with those emotions, if someone else, like I see those two people who could see my emotions are my sister Lorena and my husband. They could kind of see what I'm feeling, even if
Mm-hmm.
I try to ignore it or pretend like it doesn't exist.
Right.
Um, and definitely, I get filled when I go outside in nature in the sun and exercise. 'Cause I was putting together something in my mind yesterday, like a checklist of like when I'm feeling down, I have to check and say, okay, what am I not doing?
Mm-hmm.
I was saying to myself, everything is working out for me. Everything is always working out for me, repeating that over and over again. I was saying, okay, I haven't exercised enough today and I haven't gotten out in the sun. So it's nothing wrong with me. It's just that
Mm-hmm.
I need to do the things that I know that replenish me,
Mm-hmm.
and just go back to what I know. But definitely allow people to fill your cup. Sometimes we don't allow it because we want to support other people,
Right.
and we're not allowing our cup to be filled.
We won't
Um,
even put the cup out there. Sometimes we won't even put the cup
yes,
on the table.
right,
Um, be-
right,
yeah, because we're just so accustomed to filling other people's cups. And that's
Right.
the part I want to talk about today. Are we in a mindset to allow ourselves to be loved, to be cared for? Are you open to receive what it is that you need? A lot of times we say, "Oh yeah, I can receive it," but then when it comes, it feels so foreign. We take that opportunity that would have been ours to be lavished, to be loved on, to be treated with compassion and care, and we automatically start doing, we oh, let me do you, let me show you, we shift it, and we don't know how to be still and receive it. And I think, Lima, we saw that a lot this past weekend in our retreat. There were some women who just could not receive
Right.
the uh, intensity of being cared for.
Yeah.
It, they could not. They didn't even know how to position themselves to be
To receive. Yeah.
to receive.
And I know they, when my teachings that I've been listening to a lot about feminine leadership, and that in order, the definition of the divine feminine is being, allowing your cup to be filled.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's I guess an art, and they call it femininity, allowing your cup to be filled versus always having to fill someone else's cup. And it's
Mm-hmm.
something that people see in you. They see, not purposefully, but they see when you're ready to be filled, they will come to you for that. But sometimes we repel, we don't allow our cups to be filled. We're resistant to that
Mm-hmm.
because of the way we were trained. And I went to this lady, I went to someone who, she works in like talk, helping people to be more in their feminine.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like that helped because I think it was more the talk that she gave me
Mm-hmm.
about like the importance of allowing your cup to be filled. Because after she gave me that talk, when I was in meetings with certain people, I would just stop, like, wait a minute, I'm going to allow this person to pour into me. I'm going to allow this person to provide this information. I'm not just going to overtalk them. I'm going to allow this to come, these blessings to come to me. And I started feeling like more, more magnetic and more receptive to blessings after that, just because of the awareness of the need to be in my divine feminine.
Oh, Shay, I like that. I like that. Let's stay in that vein. So a lot of us have what's called um, trauma independence. We've talked about that. I've talked about it quite a bit, where we are so accustomed to being the go-to person, the fixer, the one that holds everything together. We really find our worth in being the ones that have the resources that you know people say, oh, I can depend on her, or um, we're really focused on giving to people those things that we desire in our lives, but we may not be receiving them, like a note. How are you doing? Leaving a note. That's we feel this will really make somebody feel good. So we do those things from our heart, and they are sincere. However, we're usually operating in our own love language. What makes us feel good? What makes us feel seen? Um, and a lot of the times, we're not being loved in our love language, right? And a lot of the times, I like the way Lima said that being in your feminine is in a receptive place. Most of us are kind of out of balance by constantly having to be in our masculine, where we are protecting ourselves, where we are providing for others, where we are really giving all the time. So in saying that, and then going from that vein, you know, I'll share a little bit. So this past weekend, as I was preparing for the retreat, I was blessed with concern and encouragement and being thought of by people that I didn't even think it never came into my mind that spirit would send them to me. I came home and I had a bouquet of flowers on my porch. And it was a friend of mine, a past client, who had seen that I was doing this retreat. And she dropped by this bouquet of flowers, and on it she wrote, "Keep doing what you're doing. I love you." And that touched me so deeply because I was like, wow, she poured into me in a language that I understood because those things mean so much to me, you know? And it brought tears to my eyes and it made me feel seen. It made me feel lavished on, you know, adored. I also got called and was like, "What you doing? I want to take you out to lunch." My little brother, he was like, "I want to spend some time with you and just let you know how much I love you because you always make me feel so loved." And like you said, Angel Spirit knew exactly who to send and to love me. And I needed that kind of, you know, big, big brother kind of get what you want. I see you, anything you want, get it. You know, I needed that. I needed that just to sit there and say, "You want this? You want more of that? You've had enough?" Because normally that's me. What else do you need? Here, let me fix you this. I know you like this, so I got this for you. But that was given to me. And it was amazing. And it did, Lima, take me a second to really put myself to the side and receive and not have the desire to say, okay, now you sit and let me get you something. Let me give you back. I didn't feel like I had to pay him back. I didn't feel like I had to do something extra special now to balance it out. You know, all those triggers in my mind of making sure that, you know, I pay them back or I do this, but just to be loved on, poured into, soft words spoken to me, my soul comforted.
So you just received it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I wanted to say a word stood out when our sister was explaining the femininity and us just being in it. And the word that popped out at me when she was saying it is awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And like we be so busy in our mode, like being that strong person, being the mother and the father, being the provider, the comforter. We even forget that we're so strong in that role that we are not aware that we are not receiving and we are not allowing people to even compliment. I was at a point I couldn't even get a compliment. I couldn't even receive a compliment without cutting somebody off in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of the compliment. But we're so unaware that we're putting our hand over our cup and not allowing people to pour into us because we're so in that strong role that we're unaware of what we're doing. So
Right.
I think awareness, I think like just to even work out some steps to help us get back to receiving and allowing and just listening
Mm-hmm.
and putting our arms around ourselves and telling ourselves we deserve it. You deserve
Ashe.
it too.
Ashe.
That'll be good, Adashina, if we could just like, and I think the first step is to be aware of what we're doing.
I like that. I like that. The first step of receiving or getting your cup filled is being aware of when we're uh, repelling it, when we are not allowing ourselves to be replenished. That's beautiful. Thank you for that. That goes right in line. Anybody else want to speak on getting their cup filled? Where do who does that for them? Are they in a position to allow that to happen? I like that. Again, Lima, I'm going to really focus on that. Being in my divine feminine and being in a position to receive. The invitation I wrote, hands up. Let me find my phone. What did I do with my phone, y'all? Hands up, open, ready to receive. Are we in that position? Or are we always hands down, giving, dropping into somebody else's, pouring into someone else? Where do you find yourself on that spectrum? Yeah, hands up and open. It's my turn. How you doing, Lenore? I want to hear from you this morning. Because I know you give a lot. You do a lot, sis. How are you replenished?
It's so funny that we're having this conversation and I'm listening to all of y'all. This is actually a subject that's been on my mind, I think. This very, very recently, the past couple of days, in fact. And I don't if I'm being really honest, I don't really feel like there are very many places where I can go to be filled. Um and I think one of the sisters talked about the someone people kind of like speaking your love language and filling you up in kind of ways that you um need to be filled, and I think maybe that's part of it. It's not that I don't have community, because I do,
Mm-hmm.
um, or people that care about me, because I also have that. But I find myself sometimes when I'm feeling really like I don't know, moments of confusion, self-doubt,
Mm-hmm.
that I don't really feel like there's a place for me to go.
Mm-hmm.
People who will, I think
Yeah.
they say a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I may not just be in the headspace to receive it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, I think I just, exactly
Is
sure.
it cutting in and out? 'Cause I don't.
No, it's me pausing.
No, no, she's trying to put her words together. Lenore, you
Okay.
have a safe space. I want you to know that. There's no judgment. You're being supported right now, sis. And I know it's hard to get your words together, but we right here with you. We're waiting on you to express yourself in whatever way you choose.
I appreciate that. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I appreciate being here and listening to y'all, and I come here because this is a space of like-minded women, and I learned so much from that. I guess there are some of the things that I think I used to do to take care of myself. Um I feel like it's a little harder climb these days.
Hmm. Hmm.
And part of it might just be I've just been, kind of doing this by myself, and sometimes I have this I see these things. Um I want so badly to change, and sometimes I want so bad, and so I do sometimes need to kind of charge my own battery,
Hmm.
but I do often feel like it's just me out on an island,
I hear you.
responsible for taking care of myself. So
Ashe. I hear
thank you.
you, sis. And that's what I wanted to touch on today. Because so many of us are giving, giving, giving. And even though people are there and they're saying you got this, you're awesome, da da da. Da," some of us are the expectation of the feeling is from sources that it's not happening from, or we feel like we may not have that source. Like if you don't have a partner, or if you don't have, you know, um, a significant other in your life, that you're looking for that infilling, or just somebody who's in that intimate space. Sometimes it's hard to receive the love that's coming in a way that it touches those spaces that we feel is empty. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm feeling.
mhm, mhm. And so you're like, I'm empty because I don't have it coming from this source. But I'm learning, we're learning as we grow that it may not always come from the place where that perfect place that you've created in your mind it should come from. And so sometimes we disregard this love, this pouring into, we put it in another category.
I
um,
I, I don't think that I necessarily am missing, like, having, like, I have a lot of people, and I think for them I'm their person.
mhm,
Mhm. Um, but I don't necessarily have a lot of people who are for me my person.
mhm,
And and um and I'm and it's interesting because I think I go to people for specific types of support.
mhm,
So if there's some things that I need for, there are people that I go to talk to about things as I that support I need around, parenting, I think, and
mhm,
people I speak to about work stuff, and I have my sister for my, for
things, for the ways in which I might be challenged with, you know, my parents growing older.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think the me part of it,
Mm-hmm.
which encompasses all of those things, plus my stuff, my stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily think that there's a space for one person for me to talk about all of that with. And
Mm-hmm.
can't some of that healing, I
Mm-hmm.
think, or maybe healing is not nurturing,
Nurturing. Okay.
I think is what the word I would use. The nurturing, I think can't be it, I think it can't be fulfilled with just like one day of getting like massages and a mani pedi.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Nice.
It's a little more than that. You're gonna need
Yeah,
some. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
can I say something? Can you
Please,
hear me?
yes.
Oh, Lenora, this is Deb. I hear you, and I have went through that same feeling of being alone and being the person that people can lean on. But then when I have my hard days, there was nobody, or at least that's what I thought. And the way that I kind of worked through it, I realized that I wasn't allowing myself to receive either because, I had in my way a specific way where the help was coming, where I wanted it to come from, and it didn't. And one thing that I did to help myself
Hmm.
was I would pray that God taught me, it would teach me how to receive because I was a wonderful giver. So I thought, but you can't really give if you don't know how to, well, you can, but not with your full heart if you don't know how to receive. So the way that I put it into practice was little things because being a single mother, femininity kind of goes out the door because you have to play so many roles in the household and around life, and it wasn't supposed to be like that. Maybe in my story, yes, but in general, like there was a balance that should have been created, and I didn't get because I was living so much in the balance that I had to create for my children. Femininity kind of left to the side. And so one thing about being a feminine is that we are built to be receivers.
Mm-hmm.
We receive energy and we transmute it. We receive and we build from the inside out. And so I had to start small because even my receiving was kind of off, and so it would be little things like when I go to the grocery store and they say, "Hey, can I help you with your bags?" It was uncomfortable for me to receive. And so I had to say yes. And I had to sit there. One day I went to the grocery store at like 5 o'clock before my kids woke up. And my oldest son's father was bringing him home. And I'm walking in the house and I had bags of groceries as he was pulling up. And he said, and it was so unexpected because, we didn't really get along. And he said, "Here, just take them in the house, put those bags down, and I'll carry them." And my natural instinct was to say, "No, I got it." Right.
Right, right.
And I said, I dropped them bags. And I said, okay, okay. It was the hardest thing that I've ever had to do because I was even used to being defensive towards him. But I dropped the bags and I went in the house. I didn't expect it, was the first thing. But even more than that, he brought those bags up and he was happy to do it. But it was hard for me to receive. So I started doing that everywhere, at the grocery store, when I'm at the gym, and a guy is like, hey, can I get that door for you? Yeah. And getting in the practice of being a receiver, little by little, it became easier, but it was also very, very hard for me. And I realized that, um, we look to the sources that we pour into to pour into us, but that's not how it works. Like, you take care of things, and then God will send angels to replenish you. It just has to be able, you have to be able to take a deep breath and say, okay. And sometimes what we feel like we need, it may come in a different coat, and you don't realize, like, oh, it's coming to teach me how to receive, because in order to be a good receiver, you got to learn it. And so, even just being able to say yes, like, oh, okay, and even when it's uncomfortable or it hurts. But I'd encourage you to, and what I did was I asked God to show me people who wanted to pour into me and help me and give me the mind to receive it. That was my prayer. And that season, I spent a year just like kicking back and allowing help me. And then it even got to the point where I could learn to ask for help, because I realized in the midst of being so strong, that was one of the simple things that I forgot to do, is say, hey, I need help, please,
Ashe.
because it made me
I want
feel
I
weak.
want to
Or
jump in right there, because help is something, and we talked about that, Dominique, that you would bring that up. What is help? When you think of needing help or wanting to ask, or in a position where you're asking for help, what is that gut feeling that you get when you do that? What does help mean to you?
um, what does it mean to me? Um, well,
Oh, no, 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 no. That wasn't the question. What is
okay.
need? When you need something, when you need someone, when there's a
Well, see, it's turning for me, because I realize that we don't really have needs, but when we do feel like
let's go back
something,
to the conversation, Deb, so we can get the meat of this, because it turned for you, but it wasn't always that. Asking for help was not
yeah,
easy for you.
I think it's just understanding that we're not alone.
Mhm,
Like, we're not alone. Like, it takes a village even
mhm,
to raise us. And when we feel like we're too strong, it I don't know if I'm answering the question correctly, but it wasn't meant to be all on one person. And
mhm.
there are people who are there who are willing, but they may not know how, or they may do it a different way. And so just um I don't know, I guess acknowledging that it's not a one man show. Like, I get no rewards for being,
The Lone Ranger.
yeah, like,
Okay,
I'm suffering. I'm not
okay,
okay. And
okay.
I to acknowledge that I don't want to do it alone,
Mhm,
and then like, that's a whole process. And then allowing somebody to show me a different way, because my mom used to say there's more than one way to skin a cat. So in your head, if you reject it, you're like, oh, that's not helpful, but it,
mhm.
it might be.
Okay.
Like, I don't know,
Well, let me
try.
let me elaborate on this point right here, because this is where I want us to really focus on. When we need, there's a lot of times just the word need, Lenore, and I want to make sure that you hear this too. I didn't
I'm
want to
listening. No,
cross
I'm
you.
listening. Thank you.
When we say we need, there's this thing sometimes that happens in our head and inside of us that makes us feel less than, that makes us feel that we're going to be judged, that makes us feel that if we reach out, nobody else is going to reach back. Um, and that we've been disappointed and we've been hurt so many times that we will not ask for help. We will just continue to give because that's where we feel safe, we feel strong, we feel in control. And a lot of the times we will refuse to even allow ourselves to pull down the veil long enough for somebody to even see that we need something, so that we don't show our vulnerability, that our hearts can't be hurt because maybe people won't see us or won't answer our call or won't tend to our needs or won't. And that's how a lot of the times our worth gets somehow tangled up in our works of sacrificial service. And that's the part I'm talking about. The invitation said, "You have given enough. It's time for you to start receiving now. You have given enough. It's time for you to start receiving now." And what I'm realizing is that it's not that easy to flip the switch for some of us.
Takes practice.
It takes practice. And you
Mhm.
hit on it, Lima hit on it earlier about the femininity, what it is to receive, to be a receiver. Yes, as women, we take in, we surround, we nurture, we fill with life, and then we give back
Mm.
something magical, miraculous, whole.
We're created to be that.
Yeah. And so we do that so much, taking it in, imbibing it in. Here, give it to me, give it to me, that we have allowed our worth to be predicated only on that. And it has inhibited us from even asking or showing that there's a need. The first thing that I hear so much from women, "I don't need a man, I want a man. I don't need that, but I want it,"
Mhm.
you know? And I feel that that mindset comes from not wanting to need just in case it doesn't happen, but still wanting to let you know that I'm open just in case you want to come and partake in this life. It's like there's no certainty in that. And it keeps me with my dignity because I'm not looking like I'm wanting, because that's so unattractive on a woman to look needy. So let me be strong and impenetrable. And then if you want to come, I'll allow it. You understand what I'm saying? Does this any of this making sense?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Can may I add something?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a trick that has been a trick of the enemy for Black
Ain't it?
women, for Black women, because I think I mentioned I was reading this book why 70% of us are single because we've been socialized to say we're strong and independent and we don't need, but we do need men. Women need
Mhm.
men and men need women. And oh, I
So
don't need a, yes, you do need a man. That we were put here for a purpose, and the way I see it, God's
Mm-hmm.
purpose for men and women to be together. So we do
Mm-hmm.
need men, but we don't have them for whatever the enemy, the white man, the devil, whatever came in and destroyed our families like they did has conditioned us to think that we don't need, but we do need. Our bodies were made to need.
Well,
It wasn't made to just be independent. It was not.
it wasn't. And that is true. There is a need that in that space, but there's also the socialized programming of
Absolutely.
not needing each other, you know? A
Absolutely.
lot of
It's
women
not true.
And it all comes down to trauma and hurt and disappointment and fear and all of those things that we talk about constantly that make us feel as if we cannot reach out. If we reach out, there's an uncertainty that there will be an answer for us. And those it doesn't it's no particular uh thing. It's everything and nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's everything and nothing. It's the way we were, it's the way those who raised us saw the world. It's the way society is conditioned and programmed. It's our own fears and insecurities. It's being jaded from past experiences. It's um, studies and this and that. The point of the matter is, if you get down to the source, what is your reason? And everyone's is different. They might be similar, but everyone's reason they feel is being supported by the things outside of them that say, this is a good place to stay. It's safe. This is why you do this, because it's not safe to open up. Everybody's is different and it's at different levels. But our inability to state our needs and then allow them to be filled is bigger than just, oh, there's no one out there that can do it. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's plenty of love and there's plenty of help, but a lot of us will not open ourselves to it for fear that it won't come and we'll be left lacking, or there'll be a judgment attached to it, a stigma about it. Does that make sense?
It does. Can I say something?
Sure.
And this is for you, Lenora. I had to learn to surrender, and it's still something that I'm actively learning. I just recently started rebuilding my relationship with God, and I don't know who you serve. We all serve the source, and I would ask Him to help me and show me and lead me to help for this, because there's always something out there. I don't know how to find it. So can you lead me? And sometime within the day, the way that it worked for me is that somebody will pop up in my head, be like, call them or go this way, just allowing yourself to be led instead of, because there's a sad place that I would go when I felt like I was backed against the wall. So when I got there, I would say, Lord, show me, because you have plans for me to prosper. And there is always a ram in the bush. So show me where I'm supposed to go and lead me and help me learn to receive. And that was something that made it a little easier for me because I was willing to try. And so this week, if that's something that, resonates with you, ask your source to show you how to surrender these strong feelings, because when you get so used to being strong, you get stuck in a flex, and nobody wants to be stuck. complex. And so if I could, that was something that helped me tremendously. And so I just wanted to put that out there and share it with you to see how when you are willing to let go of that part, it can open up the floodgates of something else.
Ashe.
That was it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Ashe. Yeah. I know sometimes we feel like we're just not getting what it is that, sometimes we can't even articulate what it is. We know it's there. But I think one of the biggest things is being afraid to ask for it or show that we need it, to be seen as needy or wanting or not in control. We don't want to look bad. And not always to other people. We don't want to look bad to ourselves. We don't want to disappoint ourselves. And this is the feeling that I wanted to evoke in this conversation, where we just don't ask for help because we've been disappointed or we've been jaded or we just don't feel that we have the sources, the resources, or that will be heard. And that stops us. Again, I hear a lot of people in their talking, in their mind, they have decided that this is what they need. This is the version of themselves that they need to create to be strong, to be impenetrable, to weather. But that version of them is so hollow and it's so moving in lack and want and need. But those words are almost like poison to them. They don't even want to speak it because it feels like it weakens their foundation and it makes them too vulnerable. And so they will, to their detriment, not make their needs known and not allow themselves to be poured into. And the truth that you said, Angel, they can't even take a compliment. As simple as, you look beautiful, or I like that. They'll come back with, no, I'm okay. No, you're beautiful. No, well, you're beautiful too. Instead of just saying, thank you. Thank you. That's the hardest thing for them to do, is say thank you. They got to pay it back. They cannot receive. That's too much of a bill. I just want us to really resonate on that. You've given enough, and now it's your time to receive. With that, let's just take a deep breath and just bring that in. What does that look like to us? Some of us are better at it than others, a little ahead of the game with self-care than others. And that's awesome, because that gives us a light to see. That gives us some options to try. But really, what is it that is preventing us from allowing our cups to be filled in its most authentic way? We'll even ask for things or show up in ways and take facsimiles of what it is that we really want and try to make that fit the bill. that's not it. And that's usually when we're finding love in all the wrong places, or using shop therapy, or, uh, you know, binging on our guilty pleasures, and, all those things. But those are not really hitting the spot. And like you said, Lenore, that's true. A massage don't always cut it. You know, a day away don't always cut it,
Yeah, that's
because
right.
it's not going to the heart of what I need.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I get it. So as we just go into this place of meditation right now, I just encourage you to really get real with yourself and have that internal dialogue. What is it that I need that makes me feel full, that fills that void, that that place that I give from that needs to be replenished? Makes me feel seen, makes me feel safe, makes me feel secure. What is that thing that allows me to really be in my most sacred femininity, in a place of receiving without feeling the guilt or the shame or the need to quickly retaliate, quickly give it back, give it back, give it back, so that I don't owe nothing. I don't owe nobody. I don't need nothing. I don't look needy. I don't need wanting. I don't look less than. Let's just breathe through that. And yes, Source does provide. Source does open a way. Source does fill us in ways that man cannot. However, Source has provided us with each other, and we need each other. We want one another, and that's perfectly fine. It is human, amidst the programming that I can do it by myself. I don't need nobody. Amidst the pain, I reached out once and they hurt me, or they betrayed me, or they didn't come to me, or they didn't see me. Amidst, they took advantage of me. And I'll never show that part of me again. They left me. They only see me when I'm giving. Amidst all of that, we're going to push all of that off to the side. A good woman does this. A good woman does that. And she does it gracefully and beautifully and without complaining. And her value is this and her value is that. We're going to push all that to the side. And like Deb said, we're going to start with the small things. We're going to let our round edges be seen. And take off the armor of I'm all right, I'm okay. What do you need? What can I do for you? I can do it. Take that off. And begin to function in a way that we're defining what it is that we need. Gracious, awesome, Heavenly Mother, Father, source of all life, we give thanks this morning for an opportunity to come together and just allow ourselves to be open and to receive whatever it is that you have for us this morning around this subject. Individually and as a group, we just open ourselves up to allow ourselves to be filled up, allow ourselves to be attended to, allow our needs to be known and to be met without the stigma, without any feelings of regret or less than, because we are requiring. We're finding our strength in being able to receive, not always just to give. We are rewriting the narrative that has been imbalanced, and we are bringing balance and harmony to our lives. Balancing that feminine and that masculine in us, where we have been so heavy in our masculine self, protecting ourselves, guarding our heart, holding everything, holding, fixing, repairing, all those things, not allowing ourselves to be held and soothed and cooed and spoken to in soft tones and receiving it and just allowing ourselves to be lavished. Break down those hard spaces and let us be soft again. Let our bodies and our minds be curvaceous and continual and sensual and smooth and open. Let our hips sway with happiness. Let our mouths smile and our lips be juicy. Let us be in our divine feminine. Let us smell fragrant. As Maya Angelou says, I am a woman. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Those are physical attributes that describe the power of our feminine in a position to know who we are and what we deserve and what we're worthy of and what it takes to make us feel full and nurtured, overflowing and abundant again. Not learning how to survive on little bits scraps in cold places, in hard beds, in tough spots, in tightness. That's not where our worth lies. It's a part of us, but we spend so much time in those spaces we rarely visit. Soft spaces. We give thanks today for the awareness, as it's been said on the call, the awareness, the call to. You have given enough. Now it's your time to receive. Thank you so much for the downloads today as it falls on each and every one, tending to our triggers, our raw spaces, building us up in places that we didn't even know we needed to be built up in. Thank you on this morning, surrounding us with your love and breaking some yokes that we've been carrying. And it was so normal. We didn't even know they were heavy. We didn't even know that they were hindering us from being whole. Thank you. So we just open our arms, open our hands, open our minds, use our voices. Say, fill me up. Allow me to see it and receive it from wherever it comes. Thank you for your divine gifts in people that we don't know and in those that we may have overlooked. Thank you that we too are in someone's thoughts, in someone's prayers. Thank you for our time to rest. Thank you that our worth is not predicated on our productivity, how much we can give, but it isn't just being. Thank you. If anyone wants to come in and pray in the space, please do. Ashe. We extend our love and our light out beyond the circle to anyone who would find themselves hearing these words. You are loved, you are worthy, you are seen. Someone is thinking about you and pouring into you with their words and with their thoughts. Someone is holding space for you, sis. Someone has you on their mind. Receive it. For those of us who are in the struggle, who are going through very uncomfortable times, we surround you with our love and our light. We send you encouragement. Everything must change. These situations don't last always. We're so thankful for you. Without you, the world would not be complete. Pull the energy and the love and the light deep down into your heart, allowing healing and repair. For those who are standing to make big decisions and life-changing decisions, and those who are in a position of change, you're not alone. Draw from the strength around you, but also trust what is so capable inside of you. Source is around you, through you, and you. You're connected to each and every thing. Use your resources. Have the courage to release all those things that would prevent you from receiving the help you need, the love you need. Seek out soft spaces for yourself. Allow your soul to be quiet. Tame that inner critic. And allow yourself to just float on love. I say all these things from a space of knowing, accepting my place in the divine. I say it with confidence. I say it with conviction. We are seen. We are not forgotten. We are worthy of beautiful, delicate, things. Mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Continue to remind yourself of that. And with that, I say Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe.
Ashe. Anything anybody want to add to that before we leave? Did it bring up anything for you?
Good morning.
Good morning, Sister Laretha. How you doing?
Oh, I'm just so happy that I was able to get in. I for some reason I always I'm unable to find the camera that, and I always have a hard time getting in. But I'm so happy that I was able to log in this morning because this is a session that I really needed. And thank you so much. I listened to all of the input. And this was just right on target. I really needed it. And thank you so much. I feel like I'm the one that's always giving so much. I feel like I give a lot. This morning my mom had a her sugar dropped.
Mhm.
And so I was able to go down and help her to try to give her something to bring, to bring her sugar level back up.
Mhm.
Over the weekend, I had to take her to the emergency room. And like I said, I just feel like I needed this session so, so much. And thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
Ashe. Ashe. Anyone else want to come in?
I wanted to thank you, Adeshina. This was a beautiful session. And that self-awareness about allowing ourselves to be filled is powerful. You know, just understanding that will kind of start to make the transformation. And it brought up for me the knowing that we are magnetic. So a lot of times we attract what we think and we feel. And that's why I keep repeating that mantra. Everything is always working out for me, because when we begin to think and feel that things are working out for us, like Angel shared, opportunities will start to present themselves. So I'm so grateful, Adeshina, that you opened up the space for that, for us to allow ourselves to receive the abundance and to start to believe that we can receive abundance.
Ashe. Thank you. Thank you for that. Tangela, did you have something to say?
I did quickly. Um, just sitting with my mind open. I reflected back on so many incidents that occurred in the last, I want to say 20 years. Just this one gathering allowed me to go back 20 years up until this morning. And
It's good, sis. Come on. We got you. Come on, sis. It's good.
it brings me to this point in time where I had to lose everything. Um and when people say that God will shut down everything when you're not doing right, he'll shut it down everything so you won't wander off too far. When you're one of his that wanders off too far, he knows how to shut it down and bring you back. And it took for me to lose my 18-year job. I worked 18 years at Royal Caribbean. My income, my place of residence, shelter. But I still held on to that mustard seed of faith. And I found a place that I can sleep safely. But I had to relocate from Miami to Orlando. Reflecting back on those 20 years up until today, when I have to and had to, and still in the process of learning how to ask for help, because I always was the giver. And I always thank God for being the lender and not the borrower. And all that was by choice. And all the people that I helped, whether it be friends, family, strangers, it was by choice. I did it because I loved and my heart genuinely wants happiness for anyone that I can help. It's just the way that I'm built. But
Mhm.
it sometimes lead us to have to endure so much pain when we're such givers and we're so nurturing. We tend to hurt a lot in the end because we can't our love and care and giving in the midst is never reciprocated. But we come to a point in life where I am now, where my family is helping me
Mhm.
because I'm in a position where I can't help myself.
Mhm.
And in the past, I didn't need anyone's help. I was always there for everybody. Again, it was out of choice, but through tragedy and burying my first and my second born a year apart in the same month, and the same month that my child that I still have in the month of his birth, you know, and still having my a same mind. And that conversation this morning led me to understand a lot of things about myself. But I want to become the person that I want to be to spend the rest of my life with. Instead of looking for it, I want to become that person that I want to spend the rest of my life with. And, it comes down to having to take back all that giving, you know, and just cut the cord on it and just look in the mirror. And sometimes you just gotta see self with no reflections behind you. And this is a wonderful opportunity for me to cry this morning, and I've been doing a lot of that. But
Mhm.
um, I choked up a minute ago because I buried my two sons in April 2006 and April 2007, but it's still like it it doesn't get easier
Mhm. Mhm.
because those are the babies that I brought home from the hospital.
Mhm.
And then when I talked to my son, when he called me from prison and he hasn't been able to stabilize himself, he called me from prison and I'd be like, can't nobody, those days when I want to hug, can't nobody hug me like my baby.
Mhm.
But I'll
Mhm.
still reach out to somebody to hug. I grabbed Angela, hugged her the other morning. I just, hugs just be, their hugs are comforting.
Yes.
And a friend brought me over water. He met me downstairs. I'm like, can you please hug me? I need a hug. And hugs are very soothing uh, to the body, and it comes from, it started with mommy because she carried us, she held us, fed us, burped us, changed pampers, bounced us off of her knee.
Right.
And then growing up with daddy issues, when him being absent, it doesn't help little girls to grow up and be, you know, a certain type of woman. Sometimes some do and some don't. We grow up with daddy issues and we grow up and tend to looking for those daddies and men that we want to be with. That doesn't work out. So nothing is forever, but anything that we do in God and our peace and our love, and that faith, it's just some things that just will not go away. We just got to pull it out of ourselves. And
Ashe.
having these type of gatherings help us pull it out, help us expose uh, our true inner Tangela, our true inner Stephanie, our true inner Lima and Lena and Loretta and so on and so forth. And I just thank God for oneness because that's what it all boils down to at the end of the gathering and everyone goes about their day. And it's just oneness and we're all sisters in Christ. And it's just as we're doing now, just helping one another support each other, and as we all must do at the end of this phone call, whether it be behind the steering wheel, at the dinner table, wherever, just keep one another in prayer.
Ashe. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for letting me share, ladies.
Thank you for your authenticity, really allowing ourselves to be open to receive and to even just take the chance to feel safe to express yourself. That's another way of being filled up, another way of letting your cup be filled to, take the opportunity when it's open for you to just be. And I'm so glad that a purge came through with some tears, and there's comfort for you here. Ashe. Ashe. Is there anyone else that wants to speak before we let go of the space? Ashe. Well, I just want to thank each and every one of you. I want to thank Spirit. I want to thank the ancestors, our guides, and our angels for meeting us here in this place and allowing us to really explore some places in ourselves where we are blocking our blessings, blocking our ability to be replenished with sometimes our own isms and schisms, as they say, but our own triggers and our own patterns and habits that we've developed to survive. And we're just thankful for the awareness of those. We're thankful for sisters and family members and friends and lovers and loved ones and people that we don't know, strangers that will come and pour into us just when we need it, all in the divine timing of the Creator. We're thankful. We're thankful again for this platform where we can come in and get these thought provoking conversations that we can take throughout the day. And I just encourage you to journal. I encourage you to take this conversation even further into your world and see what it brings up and see what it fosters in others, just to continue to nurture that awareness. The last thing I want to encourage as women is to begin to walk in your divine feminine, begin to really value and move in your softness, in your smooth lines, in your fullness, in your mind that is so full of creativity and imagination, in your words, using your voice in soft tones with yourself and with others, encouraging others to use soft tones and softness with you, making your needs known and doing it with an expectation that they will be filled, taking off the armor of survival and allowing yourself to be in a space of thriving. Remembering that you're creating the life that you desire and that you deserve. Your thoughts and your actions are creating all the time. And have courage in those areas where you need to make decisions, where you're facing change. In those areas that are out of your control, know that you are cared for and that you are not forgotten. And to all this, we say Ashe, 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 and we release the space. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. And again,